We're on. What's going on, Jeromes? Happy Tuesday out there, everyone, everywhere. It's a good day. There's actually football news yesterday. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But we'll talk about Dalvin here in a sec. We got some Q&A. We put out to you, how do you like to get your grill on? So we got gas, charcoal, pellet grill, as well as we got stick burner. So we put that out there to y'all. Livestream, Jeromes, thank you very much for coming along. You guys are the best for making us part of your day every single day. 11 a.m. Central Time. We have an hour-ish, but really more like 52 minutes of content coming right at your grill. It's always fun to hang out. And if you catch us on demand, it's okay. You're pretty cool, too. Well, support the work. Hit that join box down below. Become a monthly or platinum Jerome, as well as toss a couple bucks in the Venmo. You know what to do. There you go. As well, or get yourself a Teespring mug. That's where I go. Purple FTW. Green Bay Tears. We're working on getting stainless steel mugs, better for on the road. Preacher Paul in the live chat, he's definitely been champing for that. We're definitely going to get that. Producer Allie is going. Producer Allie is a merchandise rock star. Also, so she got angry at me yesterday because I made a joke that she's not the most technologically savvy person ever, and it was just a joke. I mean, obviously she's very good at it, and then she just got mad. She's very good. She's basically Mark Zuckerberg except without all the baggage. Yeah, she's like Jack from Twitter, but without all the there you go. All right, so Dalvin. Schefter reported yesterday that Dalvin's going to hold out without a reasonable contract extension. What does reasonable mean? All right, so this is very odd. So Doogie and Chad Graff both put out the message that Dalvin does not want Zeke or McCaffrey money. I'm sure if the Vikings offered it, he'd be like, no, I do not want that. But they both said David Johnson money. So it makes me believe that they've talked to the same source, probably Dalvin's agent, about the ballpark for them, because they said almost the exact same thing. I'm too lazy to pull it up, but on Twitter they said he doesn't want Zeke or McCaffrey money, but he will settle for David Johnson, right? And then Chad actually brought up, was like, oh, Dalvin's been insulted by the numbers that the Vikings throwing at him. So potentially $8 million a year, which is in the Todd Gurley range, the Melvin Gordon range, which I feel like 8's still pretty good. Yeah. And then we talked about yesterday with the new CBA that holding out is pretty toothless because you don't get credit for accrued seasons towards free agency. So I think it's a lot of posturing. I love Dalvin. I think the Vikings should take care of him, but they shouldn't make him the highest paid running back in the game. I'm still very wary about even 12, 13 million. Talk about David Johnson range, just because can Dalvin stay healthy, right? If he stays healthy for a full 16 games this year, and like we said before, like if he plays all 16 games and is phenomenal, leads the league in yards from scrimmage or something like that, is the heartbeat of the Vikings offense, as we saw at times last year, pay him whatever, even though I'm still very wary about paying running backs. I just am, just because beyond Frank Gore, beyond Adrian Peterson, who are both niche running backs at this point, who was the last star running back over 30 years of age? Even just think about your fantasy teams, right? Who was the last star running back who was in the top 5 for fantasy points, which, over age 30? It's really tough. It is really tough to think, but we'll see. So put out 2 polls for you guys yesterday. First one is, will the Vikings extend Dalvin for the season? 59% say yes, 41% say no. But if they're that far apart, like if Dalvin wants 13, the Vikings are offering 8, I don't see that gap being bridged anytime soon. And also, would Dalvin go for like a very heavily incentive-laden deal where, say, a base of an 8, but it can work its way up to 13, 14? Probably not. I don't know. Second poll. Dolphins offer you a 2 for Dalvin. 76% of y'all say no. I mean, I might. I might. Like, if there's 0.0% chance that he's going to show up, get whatever value you can for him right now, as opposed to waiting for a compensatory pick. And as well as, yeah. All right. So, to the nonsense. Good times. So we put out to you guys charcoal, propane, and propane accessories, pellet grill, or stick burn. Now, I used to have a stick burner And it is great, but it's very putsy. Just keeping consistent temp, making sure you have a clean fire. It is very labor intensive, right? Where, as I've said on here, pellet grills are phenomenal. You get the flavor of wood, and if you can work a microwave, you can work a pellet grill, right? But there's just something about like the smell of charcoal just getting ready to go. I mean, that just signifies summer, right? Like it's not a barbecue, it's not a grill out. That is a cookout. Charcoal is cookout. But say on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, middle of the week, you just got done with work, like the kids are being whiny, and you're trying to get something together for dinner. You just throw a couple pork chops on the gas grill or chicken breast or whatever. And it's like, oh, it's easy, it's done. You get nice, beautiful, even heat like that. I imagine, but there's a trade-off. Like, I know that there's like kits and stuff where you can put like smoker chips in with a gas grill, or like you can have like the briquette flavor. I don't know. I don't know. But if I had to pick one for the rest of time, I mean, I guess I would probably pick the pellet grill, just because I feel like it has the convenience and immediacy of a gas grill. It's got the flavor. Better flavor than charcoal even. Well, it's pretty close. The only downside on pellet grill is that it can't sear well. And the pellet grills that say they can sear well, you can't sear well. Like, you tap out at 400 degrees, can't do anything. But I mean, that's what we got stovetops for. I mean, there's nothing better. You take like a beef roast or an elk roast or whatever you want to do, and bring it up to temp on the you reverse sear it. So you bring up to temp on the pellet grill. Get up to 130, 135, whatever you want to do, and then just give it a nice hard sear on a pan on the stovetop. Baby, let's go. Preach ball. Hauling it for all y'all. I prefer propane. I'm lazy, but I'm having to learn briquettes with my Weber kettle grill. Briquettes is fun. I mean, my dad always cooked with charcoal, and there's just something about, we didn't have like the charcoal chimney, so we'd actually like build the pyramid and then yeah. It's fun. Mobile 99 charcoal. I love the smoky taste of burger skillets and ribs. Agree. I mean, there is just something about the smell and taste of charcoal. Just, I feel like sense of smell is really underrated in terms of memories. Like, smells from very important moments of your life. Smells of like a summer cookout. If you ever served in the military, like smells of the battlefield. Like, there are things that just stick with you, right? Because I feel like sensory memory wise, smell really underrated. Sir Meeps a lot. Oh, sorry. Landon Miller. If Dalvin holds out, can we put Michael Pierce or Daniil at running back one time? I mean, Anthony Barr played running back for 2 years at UCLA. Let's look that up. PFR. Anthony. Yeah, because he came out of high school as a tailback. And Jim Mora was like, hey. All right, so let's look up some images real quick. And he wore number 2. He was the deuce. I mean, just look at this dude. You do not want to tackle Anthony Barr. I mean, come on, man. All right, so his first 2 years in Westwood, I didn't really get the time of day. He'd have run one rushing touchdown in 2011, though. So that's cool, I guess. Oh, receiving threat, Anthony Barr. Isn't that just so weird to see? The whole. All right, so what was it? What year was it? 2016 when Linval was at fullback a couple of plays. Was that Shermer? Pretty sure it was. Antonio Bossi, brand new monthly Jerome. Shout out. Hey, what's going on, Antonio? Also, you guys remember when Brian O'Neill came in? He was a converted tight end, became a tackle, and all the talk is like, oh, John DiFilippo, JDF. He's going to have so many trick plays. He's going to run the tackle eligible, and he hasn't had one target yet. I don't even think O'Neill's been eligible on any plays yet. If he has, I don't remember, and it really did not matter in the grand scheme of things. But it's just odd, right? Yeah. Next up is Sir Meeps a lot. With the whole Dalvin Cook situation, IMO, it's pretty obvious we will extend him, with Zimmer thinking he's the Holy Grail, but the Dolphins called you up and offered Rosa and Devontae Parker. Are you accepting? Probably not, mainly because the Dolphins just gave Devontae Parker a pretty sizable deal. I like Devontae. I don't love him. I would much rather take picks. Like if you're this one I put out yesterday, Dalvin and a fourth for Rosen and a first. Because remember, they have an extra first and second from the Texans because of the Tunsil trade. I would do that. Davis Warrow. Charcoal. I saw you talk about the Euro Kung's wife screwed us when we got Reef. That reminded me, do you remember we almost got Alshon Jeffrey? I do not. Signs, Vikings. Alshon Jeffrey picked. Oh, man, that's rough. Bring me in the news on the sports beat. Is that Tiny Joe? Yeah, Tiny Joe Nelson. Oh, the happened in 2017. How did I not remember this? Alshon Jeffrey turned down a multi-year deal with more security from the Vikings, but he's betting on himself long-term with the Eagles and Wentz. I'm kind of glad. Although that would have been interesting 3 deep. So that's 2017. So 2016 is when Thielen and Diggs really started to step up. So it's been Thielen, Diggs, and Alshon. That's pretty legit. Not gonna lie. Next up, Aaron Rodgers, BFF, and how do I not remember that? I just blacked that out. I remember stupid things. Aaron Rodgers, BFF, and lover. What positions do each team excel at? For example, Green Bay, always quarterbacks. Vikings, always running backs, so on. All right, so just anecdotally, Steelers always good with wide receivers. Patriots always good with offensive linemen, mainly because of Dante Scarnecchia. Ravens always good with linebackers. Cowboys always good with number 88 wide receiver, except for Drew Pearson, the cheating bastard. Could we do college? Iowa's always good with offensive linemen. You can sort of just set it and forget it. LSU's always good with DBs. Alabama linebackers, sure. Yeah. Cody Roseberry. Charcoal all the way. Can't beat that delicious smoky taste. It's like my Vikings going to take a little bit longer, but once I got that sweet Super Bowl, it'll all be worth it. Yeah. It's funny because so when we do charcoal, I do charcoal like maybe once a month, but we don't have like your standard, bowl grill for charcoal. When what I got is, so it reminded me of like these Asian street vendors, over in the motherland, where they would just squat on like the side of the road with like these little baby charcoal grills, like even smaller than hibachi, and then they just do like skewered meat, and it's just great. It's like that's the guy I want to be. Just no teeth, 70 years old, flip flops, just that moles with hair like this long coming out of them, and just smoking and charcoal and meat right on the side of the road. It's like free advertising. It's great. Next up is Tristan. The Vikings send Dalvin Cook and a fourth to the Dolphins for the first round pick next year. Hey, would you make that deal? Yes, I would. And throw in Rosen. Sam Morris, would you rather have Kirk throw for 1 million yards or Cook run for the all-time rushing record? Both aren't directly correlated with winning. Like if Kirk throws for 1 million yards, I think that'd be a record. But say Kirk leads the league in passing yards, I don't think that necessarily correlates with winning. Because why do you throw? You generally tend to throw when you're behind, especially if you want to be a run-first team. Kirk setting up Jameis numbers, I just don't see that. But the false correlation is you run to win, but no, when you're winning, you tend to run the ball more, so then you put up more running sacks. But if that is the case, then I think the Vikings are probably winning, unless it's 2012. But yeah, I guess I would take Dalvin setting season rushing record. So what was that, like 2,100 some? Yeah. Sam Morris, is Ben getting the boot soon? I don't think so. Rookie deal, so he's not that expensive. Plus, he's a really good special teams player, so, nah. Now we have a reason to get rid of Reef to free up cap space. There we go. It's happening. Sir Meeps a lot. Send him to the Patriots for Joe Thuney and then start Cleveland left tackle and cut Reef. I would do that. I don't think the Patriots would trade for a running back, though. Like they fully understand, like, the value of running backs, even though, like, Belichick will occasionally take, he spent a first-round pick on Sony Michel. But other than that, it's like, yeah. Sir Meeps a lot. Oh, yeah. Mr. Popo. Do people think that Cook is fast? I don't think he is, but he's smart when it comes to which hold it. I don't think Dalvin necessarily has like straight line track speed because like remember his spider chart is nothing to write home about it. In fact, it's actually kind of bad. But if you just watch him, like that's why these black and white. I mean, just look at that. It's not great. This 40 was 4.49, so I guess that's pretty okay. But you look at So he tested bad in explosive drills. He tested bad in agility, but you can't tell me that Dalvin Cook is not explosive and agile. Right, so I don't know if he just had a bad day. It certainly doesn't sync up with what you saw at Florida State. It certainly doesn't sync up with what you saw of him with the Vikings. But also, just in terms of like straight line speed, probably not. But I feel like he does accelerate well, and plus, once he gets that weight behind him, like he is a freight train trying to bring him down the open field. Not as much as like Adrian per se, but yeah. Tristan, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the AFC only had 2 teams contending, and Super Bowl and NFC is up for grabs. All right, so AFC, Chiefs, Ravens, for sure, I agree. But then NFC, yeah, it's sort of wide open because, I mean, you look at, like, who's the favorite in the NFC? I think the Niners. Think the Niners are probably the favorites? Probably not. Yeah. Pulford Skull. If Dalvin doesn't take 9 or less, would you trade him? Like the best and why? OBJ for. What, is there more of this? It's always tough for the sizing because then we get the dots. Oh, there we go. Rosen in a 3rd. OBJ in a 5th. Chris Carson and Tyler Lockett. Probably OBJ in a 5th. Although Lockett is kind of Lockett is intriguing. Yeah, I'll take OBJ in a 5th. Why would Cleveland trade for a running back? They got Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Head coach, if Madison performs well, is Cook gone? I think so. And yeah, I think so. Lord Thick Chunka. Why is this not like? It's so frustrating. The bubbles. The bubbles. They should definitely trade Dalvin and get it. Now what? They should definitely trade Dalvin and get a first, second round pick. They can get Travis Etienne, which would make him the second round back because I don't have faith in Mike Boone's ball security. How dare you, sir? But yeah, Travis Etienne. I'm sort of over like the first round pick running back, but Etienne is legit. I'm really surprised he didn't come out this year. I think he would have clearly been the running back 1, maybe even been top 15 pick. Also Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State is pretty legit too. Wolves, I prefer a stick burner because I love the smell and putting it in wood. There's something very primal about it. But like I said, if you have a full afternoon, like you're gonna properly do a brisket, stick burner, sure, but you gotta watch that thing. Yeah, you do have to watch it. Skull Lee, trade Cook for a first and second and move up next year's draft for a quarterback. I'm in. I'd be okay with that. Andy's Evil Twin. Why have the value of running backs needed money have gone down? I think teams just start realize that if you have a really good offensive line, like you can create running back production. And I think that the thinking has shifted away from running backs because of it's become more of a passing league as well. Because you look back in the day, the Dickersons and the OJs and the Dorsets and the Jim Browns, like it was a different era. Walter Payton, just straight up, it was different. Like even like Adrian was on the tail end of that. I feel like it started shifting after Barry Sanders, after Emmitt Smith. Adrian was just so damn dominant for a hot stretch of time that we sort of fooled ourselves that running backs were still important. But I feel like the difference between a average running back and a great running back is pretty small between rather than the difference of an average quarterback and a great quarterback, if that makes sense, right? So I'll suggest. I mean, a lot of like the good running backs are washed by age 28, 29. They really are. And I'm not talking about Frank Gore. I'm not talking about Adrian. I'm talking about true blue 3-down bell cow running backs. You just don't see them. Like, would you bet right now that Zeke is still getting 1,500 yards from scrimmage at age 31? Are you betting that? Maybe McCaffrey, sure. But he could grind down pretty easily as well. It's just, he takes so many hits as a running back. It's just tough, as well as like pass protection too. Like even though you're not getting taken to the ground, just think of all the contact that running backs take on in pass pro. Yeah. Ethan Griffith, would you do Dalvin for Thuney? Yes. Boom addict. Cook for AP and a 2. Well, no. Could you imagine? Actually, I do wonder if time does heal all wounds. Sorry, pardon the pun. With Adrian and this Vikings fan base, because a certain part of the fan base would obviously welcome with open arms, but I don't know. A lot of them still might be sore. Again, pardon the pun. Sorry. Like, it will be interesting. Like, will Adrian sign the ceremonial 1-day contract to retire a Viking? I mean, Kevin Warren is gone, so maybe. Adrian and Kevin Warren definitely did not see eye to eye. Like, will they put Adrian in the Ring of Honor? They probably should. But man, that's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. Next up is Bawa Taba. If Fran Tarkenton won his Super Bowls, do you think he would be top 5 all time? Yeah, I think he would. I mean, let's split the difference. Say he won 2 Super Bowls. So, I think that he would be considered an all-time great. I think that him being like one of the first true scrambling quarterbacks, first true mobile quarterbacks, would go down, because he retired as the all-time passing leader, didn't he? Before Marino just like broke his ish. Or am I remembering that wrong? At the time of his retirement, he owned every major quarterback record. All right, so 47,000 yards, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he only competed 57% of his passes. Man, it's like his quarterback rating was 80.4. That's like a different age, man. Completely different age. Next up is Traveler. Use propane for ease, but love charcoal. I come in the same boat. Do Vikings players watch a show? They ever chat with you? I have gotten word that some of them have watched. And, yeah, I don't really talk to the players about it. Yeah. Actually, I would love to see what Kyle Rudolph's thoughts would be. Probably not great. Or like Gideon's or Elfline's. Probably not great. Gavin O. What do you think we should ask for Dalvin? I think it started on either side of the ball and a first. I think that's probably asking too much. I think you'll probably get either or. Just because it's a running back, last year of his contract, you have to pay him, and it's a running back. Yeah. David Bryant. If Gary Anderson didn't miss that kick, would we have become a dynasty? Also, wood pellet smoker all day. Love my Traeger. It's really good. Dynasty. All right, so Super Bowl win. Because Cunningham came back in 99. But his health sort of failed him. He got replaced by Jeff George. The Vikings probably still trade Brad Johnson. They probably still draft Dante. But the shortcomings of the Vikings, because that defense is starting to age out. Chris Carter was starting to age out. I think that probably would have bought Denny some more job security, so maybe he sticks around through 2002, 2003. Maybe Randy Moss sticks around, because one of the big reasons why Randy started acting up is because that Denny left. Yeah, maybe. Like, what's a dynasty nowadays? Like 2 Super Bowls? I think they could have won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. Trey Billmeyer. Trade Dalvin. If so, what do you think you can get from him? The equivalent value of like an early second-round pick. So if that's a combination of putting like a 4th with Dalvin to get a 1st, it's probably about the ballpark. I think it's probably about the ceiling. Travis, charcoal all the way. Maybe it's just sentimental value, but it's something about a good burger that's nicely charred by the coals. I really agree. Just that flavor. Even something as simple as like hot dogs on a charcoal grill. It's good, man. I think that propane is easily the worst out of all, though. There's no flavor incorporated in propane. Yes, and it is just cooking. That's why I said like weekdays, just like psh. Paz Mello. What are the chances we actually sign Dalvin Cook? Well, let's go by numbers. 16 million plus, 0. Well, 0.1% chance. Over 12? Go the Vikings break on that? I still think it's pretty low. I'd say like 30% maybe. Over 10? 60%. Over 8, I think it'd be 90%, but actually no. Well, it would take 2 to tango, so Dalvin would have to sign an $8 million deal, so I'd say no. So actually, I think the chances overall of re-signing him are probably like 40% right now, maybe even worse than that. Oscar Hayes, what team in the NFL this year could be like the Niners last year, going from 4-12 to 13-3? Not the Lions. Well, let's look at the standings. 2019 NFL standings. The Dolphins from 5-11. Could they go 10-6, 11-5? Certainly, with Tua. Chargers with Herbert. Maybe. Oh, Browns 6-10, turning around with Stefanski. I could see that with all that offensive firepower. Shoot. Jaguars, no. Jaguars are lucky to win 6 games last year. What the hell happened? See here. Washington, no. Giants, no. Cardinals, they'll do better than 5-10-1. I don't see them going like double-digit wins, though. Not the Lions. Panthers, Teddy, Matt Rule, Joe Brady, McCaffrey, let's go. Derek Brown, shoot. Next up is Flying Kite 04, Super Bowl prediction, Vikings and Bills, and the Bills win with a Diggs miracle catch. Hate to say it, but be his revenge, blah, blah, blah. Also, never grilled by my dad uses propane. God, would that be just poetic justice? Like Diggs has the equivalent of a Minneapolis Miracle just dragging across the face of the Vikings, just full-on teabag down in Tampa, which sucks even worse because it's humid, so you know that those things are like, yeah, no. Nick Doroff, propane. Who in NFL media annoys you the most? I don't say I'm like ever annoyed. I mean, so Joe Buck on TV, yes. If you ever have listened to Joe Buck off of TV, he seems like an awesome dude. I mean, he's just this down-to-earth Midwestern dude. He's funny. Go look up the clip. Joe Buck calling. He had a couple of pops. He had a couple of Anheuser-Busch's, and he was at the Blues game. They had him do play-by-play in hockey. It was actually pretty good. So Joe Buck, the commentator. Who else bothers me? Skip Bayless for the outlandishness. And also the pure homerism. But maybe I just hate it because I see a lot of myself in him. Florio to a degree. Because I think Florio does a great job. He is really good at conveying news. But also, you see this in a lot of the media. So now I'm not on either side of the political spectrum at all, but I feel like injecting so much politics into sports, I feel like I don't completely agree with the stick to sports thing, but also I can see why people rally for it, just because, I mean, sports is supposed to be this bastion of life that unites us, and everyone injects their politics, and every time when someone doesn't stick to sports, what it really means is I don't stick to sports, or you shouldn't stick to sports if your politics completely sync up with mine. That's exactly what it is. Right? So that just the disingenuousness of that, I don't buy into that. Yeah. See what else? Who do I like in media? That's a good. So Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks. I actually really like Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is effing hilarious, and he makes a lot of good points. I love Shannon Sharp. See who else here. Like, who is good? I don't listen to enough local stuff to really have an opinion one way or the other. I listen to Barrero sometimes, especially around like important issues like what's going on right now. I like the around the NFL guys, like you probably heard us say Tennessee Titans before. That's from them. I know I'm missing some people. Oh, Kyle Brandt and who's the other guy in Good Morning Football? The other jabroni. They're both good. Schrager. Yeah. Of course, Nate Burleson. He's our guy. Pride of Nevada Wolfpack. Also got poison pilled. People don't know that. Is that Nate Burleson? Actually, let's look that up, because after the Vikings signed Steve Hutchinson to the poison pill contract, the Seahawks had their revenge by signing Nate Burleson to a poison pill deal. All right, so Burleson signed a 7-year, $49 million deal offer sheet to play for Seattle. In retribution for the Vikings, Seahawks put a clause in Burleson's offer sheet to make it virtually impossible for Vikings to match similar with the Vikings and Hutchinson. To fully guarantee if Burleson played 5 games in one season in the state of Minnesota, which is just or on average year exceed the average of all running backs on the team combined, which it's just so stupid. It's just so absolutely stupid. I miss Nate Burleson, though. All right, next up is Tristan. If the Vikings organization got abducted by aliens, who would be your next NFL team to root for? We had this one before. Also, live chat. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll give a couple of shout-outs. I always love doing that. It might be the Browns. I love Stefanski, like Baker Mayfield, love OBJ. Myles Garrett, you know. I was looking at Sheldon. Maybe the Dolphins. I really love Tua. I love Tua. Yeah. Next up is Sir Meep Slot. Just imagine trading Thielen, Smith, Rudolph, Cousins, cut Reef next season. We get a lot younger and a ton of cap space to work with for agency, plus our draft cap will be insane. Oh. Actually, let's pull it up on the calculator. See how much would be dead. All right, so the Vikings. All right, so 2021. All right, so here we go. So 2021 projecting $32 million in cap space, but we'll see if the cap number actually goes up. So here is what we will do. All right, so we're going to cut Kirk. We're going to cut Barr. We got to cut Reef. Well, cut and trade is the same thing, so you understand. Did you say Thielen? Cut Thielen. Cut or trade Harrison. Cut or trade Rudolph. Definitely cutting Shamar. Now you're getting into the rookie contracts. So how much did we save? Oh, $69 million. Nice. How much was dead? A lot. Yeah, there you go. Rookie deep. All right. Let's hear. Brian Kuke and Pellet Grill. Recently switched from Traeger to Rec Tech and will never look back. What is the difference in wins and losses without Dalvin Cook this year? If you look at last year, I mean, the offense just wasn't the same without Dalvin last year. But also, I think a year older with Madison, a year more experience in the system. Same thing with Mike Boone. I think they're actually better equipped to replace him in the running game. So I think it's relatively negligible. Like, I'm not full on saying that, like, PFF, like, wins above replacement for star running backs is 0, but it's not a lot. So maybe like half a game. Are there any trade contenders that would offer a first-round pick? Miami? Would you rather have 2 firsts to trade up for Trey Lance next year and draft a running back in the 3rd with Madison, pay Dalvin $16 million? I would have the latter. Pay $6 million and lose Ant. Yeah, I'd pick the latter. A couple shoutouts. Sir Meeps a lot. Score from New York. What's going on? Nick Doroff, skull from his kitchen. Seth V. Herman, skull from Moorhead, way up Norte. Turtle 553, skull from Rochester, Minnesota. Med City represent. Travis, watching from Flake. Seems to me that maybe. Skull, Connor Gunter, skull from Big Axe Brewing in Niswa. Where's that? Because I'm in. I mean, you had me at Big Axe Brewing. Oh, that's over in the Western Burbs. Oh, no, that's up north. No, never mind. I was way off. I just saw, like, the lakes. So I was like, nah. There you go. Shot. Brainer's so fun. God, we got to get up there. Next up, Hut TM. Skull from Groningen, deep north of the Netherlands. Skull Vikes. Skull to you, man. Thanks for making us part of your day. Skull Vikes. Skull on your way to L'Orange, Saskatchewan. There you go. World War II General Vince Vaughn. Quitten Parak National Park near Greenland. Hey, sweet. Nice. Preacher Paul, Hollander for Alia, Lake City, Florida. On my way up to Millbank, South Dakota. It's quite a haul. Just a little bit. Give my Green Bay a cheers mug for Father's Day. It's awesome. Rayshawn Ivory. Skull from St. Paul, Minnesota, from the Purple Cities. Rayshawn, daily viewer. Love it. Tony Mudica, skull from Spanaway, Washington. What up? Canned Laughter, skull from San Diego. Jacob Mahia Megat, skull from Oakdale. Eastern Burbs representing. Samuel Salinger, skull from Austria. Let's put another shrimp on the bobby. Let's not. If you know that reference, let it be known in the live chat. There you go. Next up is World War II General Vince Vaughn. If for anyone who grows a lot, propane, Mr. Leahy and Hank Hill will tell you. Well, what Dad, what happens if someone wants their steak well done? We will politely but firmly ask them to leave. Number 2, is the supplemental draft going to be a bigger deal this year? Not even sure how that works. Well, they said that it would be limited, because there are a lot of restrictions on getting into the supplemental draft. Like, you can't just be like, I'm in, right? Players can't do that. It's really tough. So you could have saw it potentially if college football didn't look like they're going to have a season. I think they will, mainly because colleges ain't going to lose out on that money. That's right. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be any larger of a deal than normal. Mr. Popo, they should get Jamal Adams and some picks for Cook. I mean, yeah, I'm in. Ritu Skull from Barcelona, what's up? Purple Rain Skull from Cheesehead Country. Keep fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Mr. Pope, Charlie Boltman Propane. Are there any movies that hit home for you on a personal level? Kill the Messenger always hits home for me because I can still remember going to a Gary Webb's house and playing for his son Eric, who I'm still friends with to this day. So what was Kill the Messenger about? Kill the Messenger. Jeremy Renner? Oh, it's a biographical pick. Oh. I've never heard of this movie, but I'm in. I always love movies based on true stories. Yeah, so there you go. Jeremy Renner's really good. Really underrated. He shouldn't have been in Avengers, by the way, because Hawkeye's such a dolt. And just like Iowa. Bunch of dolts. Movie that hit home for me. In roundabout way, like Coco, not because I'm Mexican or I didn't know my dad or anything like that, but just the story from like the father and the daughter's perspective. Like, he was gonna go home, he was gonna give up life on the road, he's gonna be a family man, he wanted to take care of that, and just didn't work out. Spoiler alerts on movies that are like 5 years old. But I'm just thinking about like the life of that little girl, life of Coco, right? She grew up just thinking that her father abandoned her for music, and then like they banned music from the family, which is odd, right? But just the realize it coming together at the end, and everyone gets together, and like just hits home. I think it's probably because I'm a parent now. I mean, before I had kids, I was really kind of a nihilist, not gonna lie. Like, nothing. Like, I hated the state fair. I hated movies. I like squishy movies like Coco. Just like whatever. But then like things change. Like chemicals in the brain, like they certainly switch around. Next up is Zach Ballas. What's in your watch later list for like YouTube? I don't really use the watch later list. I don't. I'll either watch the video I was going to right away, or I don't. That's about it. X Wolves. Let's say the Vikings won against the Eagles in 2017 AFC Champ game. What would be the chances Minnesota would have won that Super Bowl? 1,000%. The Vikings, actually, coming back from 38-7, it would have been amazing. Even though you worry about the emotional hangover, because there obviously was one from after the Minneapolis Miracle. But I think if the Vikings have beat the Eagles, you're the first team to ever have a home Super Bowl. Even though the Niners technically played a Super Bowl at Stanford Stadium, which is like 10 miles down the road from whatever. But, yeah, I think at that point the Vikings would have been on a mission from Gad. Plus, imagine Minnesota cheering for the Vikings. You have that Timberlake Prince halftime show tribute. Woo! Patriots probably would have lost by 70. Vikings by 1,000. Shit. Skull Nation. My stats for Danielle Hunter 2020, 20 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 90 pressures, and a defensive player of the year. They may get him MVP, depending on what happens with the quarterbacks this year. Who's winning in a fight, Genghis Khan or Vlad the Impaler? In like single combat? Or do they get to fight in the style that they fought in? All right, so Vlad the Impaler was just like a thug. Genghis Khan was a step horseman. So he's got his horse. I'm sure he's a great shot with a bow. Like, I don't even think Vlad would get within 200 yards of Genghis. I just really don't. Wait, are we talking about in their primes, or are we talking about after Genghis Khan got all fat and happy and full of gout? Because then maybe Vlad. Vlad just sneaks up on Genghis in the harem. Just like, you go. Stanley Morris, I love to grill, but I've only ever owned propane gas grills. I mean, it's fine. Like I don't judge how someone gets their groove on, but there's just something about the smell and the taste of charcoal and like wood. Skull Vikes, stick burning makes me feel more accomplished afterwards, but propane for convenience. Yeah, I agree with that too, because it actually does feel like I'm a barbecue man, competition barbecue. Oh, I got these hickory chunks. Oh, here, do this, do that, because I'll do this with pellets too, by the way. So stick burner, I'll start with mesquite, and I'll do this with pellets too. So I'll start with mesquite because that burns a lot hotter. So I feel like with the meat, you'll get this really quick first layer of bark, just this initial layer, and then move into oak, move into hickory, or whatever you want to do, and then just a little bit more mellow flavor. There's probably no scientific thing about it, but just anecdotally, it works for me. How long do you expect a holdout to take place with Dalvin? Well, he can't hold out in a training camp, so month. Are the Vikings less anxious to get this done because of having backup run back starter on other teams? Yeah, I think having Madison and Boone behind Dalvin is definitely leverage for the Vikings. Gavin O. Mike Evans for Dalvin and a fifth. But then you have to pay Mike Evans that contract. Nah. Trey Swedenberg, charcoal. My dad's grill is charcoal and propane. Yeah, the combos just never do it for me. But if it makes you happy, I mean, that's all you, man. Tristan, do you think if Kirk can't step up the season and get over the hump, like winning in prime time? They won in prime time last year. They beat the Cowboys. Beat tough teams like Seattle, win multiple playoff games. Do you think it's time to cut the rope and release Kirk? Well, that's also a big ask. I mean, like there's maybe like 4 quarterbacks in the league that can do all that, but Kirk better move his ass and become one of those guys. Yeah. Andy's Evil Twin. Do people don't trust Madison and Boone? I don't know why. Like Madison is a legit stud, perfect scheme. Same thing with Mike Boone. Like we did the video on Mike Boone earlier today. Mike Boone is a physical freak. He really is. Yeah. Ex-Wolves. Who would you take? Mitchell Trubisky or Andy Dalton? Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is a proven playoff appearance, division-winning quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky is Christian Ponder. Master Jedi 19 Gaming. Do you think Dalvin will become a headache, or will the team just do business as usual? I don't think so. Dalvin has never struck me as the kind of guy who will make himself a distraction for the team just for his benefit. And players know, business is business, and they never talk about another guy's money. That's sort of a unspoken agreement amongst the players, and I don't think it will. Or unless they can trade for a first and a fifth. It used to be charcoal, now it's high quality propane. I blame Hank Hill. But King of the Hill is very underrated in the pantheon of all animated shows. Actually, maybe we'll have that as our add-on question for King of the Kill for tomorrow's live stream. King of the Hill is just a great show. It just really is. Oh, all the episodes are on Hulu? Shit. Yeah. Dale. Boomhauer. Let's go. It's just a funny-ass show. It just really is. And the boy ain't right. Got a narrow urethra. All right, next up is Kyle Rippentrap. Peller's the way to go. If Daniel Carlson makes the OT field goal in Green Bay, is he still on the Vikings? Probably not, because I think he just screws up at some other point, because Prefer was so stupid and obtuse of a special teams coach that he couldn't solve the problem of like, hey, Daniel Carlson, take a half step this direction. All right. Or not even consulting Daniel Carlson's longtime kicking coach. Is like, hey, what's up with this Barbie head case? What's going on with Daniel Carlson? So probably not. Yeah, maybe it stays his execution for a couple weeks, but yeah. Brett Vuvuzelas. If Dalvin does hold out and does not play this season, would you be okay if the Vikings sign Devonta Freeman or Lamar Miller for the season? Probably not Freeman. Freeman's actually looking for a lot of money. I think Freeman. I would like the talent, except not the price point is going to come in. I'm very feh on Lamar Miller. Always have been. He's always been a fantasy football darling. Never panned out. Nah, I'm going to go with Madison and Boone. Aaron Rodgers, BFF and lover. The good thing about Vikings drama is that you get more views and comments. Bad publicity is good publicity. For a relatively small market team, this squad is always just full of random stupid drama. It just really is. Charlie Boltman. Is Dalvin holding out, or is his agent holding out because his agent wants a piece of the larger pie? Will they have eventual penalized players to hold out while rookie deals in the next CBA? They did. You really can't do it. Yeah. Sir Meeps a lot. What do you think of the 3-year, $32 million deal with no guarantees in the last year? Why would he ever sign a deal with no guarantees? No. Chuck Norris, charcoal. I like charcoal. Head coach, the Vikings should just move from Minnesota. Sorry, Andy. Where would they move to? Where would they go? Think about it. San Diego? San Antonio? Red McComb's wet dream finally comes to fruition. Yeah. Lastly, Ethan Griffith. Pellet is ideal. If you could have gone pro in any sport, what would you have chosen? Has to be golf, given the lifestyle, money, and lack of physical toll it would take on the body. Probably not. Definitely not football, because I don't think I would be a quarterback. So career would be brief, not a lot of money, and horrible. Maybe baseball. Asians can play baseball, not hockey, not basketball. Actually, maybe like high-level soccer. Like, I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I acknowledge and respect like the game over there. EPL. Also, have you seen some of the soccer contracts? It's insane. Like, when Cousins was the 9th highest paid athlete on planet Earth, like 4 of the top 10 guys were soccer players. Plus, 5'7" dudes can do well in soccer, so I'm in over there. A couple of other shout-outs. Peter DeLuca, Skull from New York. What's going on? Ben Niederenheifer, Skull from Breckenridge. Benjamin Gillian, Skull from Virginia, Viroqua, Wisconsin. Sorry. Trade Cook for Quentin Nelson. I'm in. Drabrisky, Skull from Trempolo, just over the bridge. It's good times. All right. That's it. Live stream for the day. It's always fun hanging out with the Jeromes on the old live chat. Actually, no, screw it. Hold on. Since we're a little bit short on time, or you know what I mean. All right, 2021 NFL mock draft. F it. Select all. Let's go. 1 round. Manuel. All right, so Jaguars. Man. If only I... there we go. All right, so Jaguars. All right, sorry guys. For some reason, the website is taking up a ton of bandwidth and being a Jerome, but whatever. All right, so that's it for the live stream, guys. Thanks a lot for coming along. If you want to support the work, hit that join box, become a monthly or platinum Jerome, or toss a little something in the Venmo. You guys are rock stars. I'll be back 11 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. You guys are the best. Skull, production value.